Hi, I'm Aarti Krishnan. Welcome to the latest episode of Question of Money. In this episode, we'll discuss why does the EPF take a bite out of your salary? Usually, young people who've just joined their new job, they find that the take-home pay that they are getting in their first paycheck is much less than the CTC that they actually saw in their offer letter. The first reason that this happens is the tax deduction, which is the income tax, and the second reason is the deduction towards the EPF. The EPF is the Employees Provident Fund. So in India, according to central laws, any organization that employs more than 20 people has to register with the EPF. And whenever a new person joins the company is supposed to enroll that new employee into the EPF. The EPF is a default and compulsory retirement vehicle for new employees. Once enrolled, every month a certain proportion of your basic salary is deducted from your paycheck and sent to the EPF. Your employer also contributes an equal amount to the EPF. So according to the rules, 12% of your basic pay is actually your monthly EPF deduction, and the employer also is supposed to match it. Now central laws set a sort of a cap of 15,000 rupees on the basic pay on which this 12% is calculated. So the mandatory deduction that the employer and you should actually give to the EPF is 1800 rupees, which is 12% of 15,000. But some employers give you the option to contribute to EPF on your full salary, and they also offer to match it, which is 12. If suppose you are earning 30,000 rupees, your EPF contribution will be double to 3,600 rupees, and the employer also will match it. So you may ask, should you opt for this higher contribution? There are pros and cons. On the plus side, when you contribute to the EPF, your money is going into a government-backed vehicle, which is absolutely safe. The EPF also offers fairly high interest rates compared to bank FDs. The interest you earn on the EPF is tax-free, doesn't actually get added to your pay for tax purposes. If you are in the old tax regime, up to 1.5 lakh a year of your contributions into the EPF will be counted under Section 80C, and this will be left out of your income for calculating income tax. Your employer's contribution also is not taxable, so that's a part of your pay again that gets shielded from tax. But on the minus side, the EPF is a fairly inflexible vehicle. Once you actually enroll for the EPF, you have to make the minimum monthly contribution, which is 12% of your basic pay. You cannot get out of it even if you don't have money. Secondly, the EPF is supposed to be a retirement vehicle, so you cannot withdraw your full amount from it under normal circumstances until you retire. But there are exemptions and loopholes there. If you are unemployed for some time, you are allowed to withdraw from the EPF. A third minus I would say is that the EPF returns are decided completely by the government, and therefore they may sometimes not be linked to market returns also. Your money is pooled with 6.4 crore other employees who are already members of the EPF, and all of this money is managed by the Employees Provident Fund organization. It is put into central government securities, state government securities, some company bonds. Recently, the EPF has also been investing in the stock market to the extent of 10 or 15% of its corpus. At the end of every year, based on the surplus that this fund earns, the Central Board of Trustees of the EPF, they recommend a certain interest rate to the government. If the government approves it, that becomes your declared interest rate for the year, and it is credited to your account. So this year's interest rate was 8.15%, and you can see in the table that the EPF has declared rates of more than 8% for the last 10 years or so. So both the contributions and the amount that you and your employer contribute, they keep adding up in your EPF account. Finally, when you turn 54, you are allowed to withdraw 90% of the amount, and at 55, you can withdraw 100% of the balance along with the interest. At the time of enrollment, you are allotted a number called Universal Account Number or UAN. Using the UAN, and once you link it with your KYC details, mobile number, etc., you can actually get information on your monthly balances via SMS. You can also SMS the EPFO in order to get your passbook or account statement whenever you need it. So when you move from one employer to another, it is possible to port your EPF account or take your account with you. So when you submit the necessary forms, the EPFO actually transfers your account from one employer to another. But there is also a rule which says that if you quit your job and plan to study or plan to do a startup or something, then if you remain unemployed for 1 month, then you can withdraw your EPF balance from the account because you are no longer working. Now 75% of the balance can be withdrawn if you are unemployed for 1 month, but the entire balance can be withdrawn if you are unemployed for 2 months. Therefore, if you are planning to work now but study later, etc., you need not worry about your EPF balance not coming back to you. Now, there is a fairly large amount that you are going to accumulate in the EPF through your career. So, can you take loans against it? After all, insurance policies, mutual funds, etc., allow you to take loans. Now, the EPF has one mechanism called an advance. This advance is not a loan. You actually withdraw from the EPF and you need not pay it back to them. So, but the EPF has very strict rules on what purposes you can take this advance for. So, it says that you can take advances for building or renovating your own house, for your own wedding, for your children's education and so on. For each of these purposes, there is a certain amount that you can take as loan out of the EPF. You cannot take out the entire balance. So, now you know all about the EPF, which takes a bite out of your salary. Now, in the next episode, we will talk about the national pension system, which is the market linked alternative to this EPF and which is not run by the government but is run by the PFRD.